Imagine being lost at sea for 20 grueling years after a devastating war, battling vengeful gods, monstrous creatures, and then returning home to face the ultimate test of loyalty.
It's almost unimaginable, isn't it?
This isn't just a fantasy, it's the profound, timeless tale of resilience, cunning, and that deep, undeniable yearning for home.
That pull towards home, it's so central.
Today we're taking a deep dive into Homer's timeless epic, the Odyssey.
A story that still speaks to us so powerfully.
And this isn't merely a saga of adventure. It's a profound exploration of human nature, divine intervention, and the enduring, almost sacred power of family.
So many layers to peel back. Adventure, yes, but so much more.
Our mission today, for you, our curious learner, is to navigate the treacherous seas of Odysseus' journey, witness his extraordinary cunning and resilience,
And he has plenty of both.
and uncover the surprising nuggets of wisdom and human experience embedded in his epic quest.
Yeah, find those insights that still resonate.
We're going to extract the most important insights, connecting the ancient world to universal truths that still resonate powerfully today.
That connection is key, I think. Why it matters now.
Our guide for this incredible journey is a rich stack of excerpts from a detailed narrative spanning the entirety of this incredible story.
A really solid foundation for our discussion.
At its core, this is the story of Odysseus, famously introduced right at the beginning as that resourceful man.
Polytrokos in the Greek.
Yeah.
Many turns, many ways. Resourceful is a good way to put it.
He's the king of Ithaca, a brilliant strategist from the Trojan War, but after sacking the sacred citadel of Troy, his journey home becomes an odyssey of torment.
Yeah, that victory at Troy, it comes at a huge cost for him personally.
Our sources tell us he wandered far and wide, fighting tooth and nail to save his life and lead his comrades home.
Trying desperately to get his men back.
Yet his men, through their own stupidity, a really strong word the poem uses,
It is strong, yeah. Homer doesn't mince words there.
feasting on the sacred cattle of Hyperion, the sun god, sealed their own doom.
A fatal mistake. Directly warned against it, too.
This, tragically, left Odysseus to face an odyssey of torment alone.
What's immediately striking is how the poem sets up this tension. You have Odysseus, a hero of incredible intellect and determination, constantly working to bring his crew home.
He's the leader, right? It's his responsibility.
Exactly. But their fatal flaws, their greed, their disobedience, their sheer foolishness repeatedly undermine his efforts.
It's almost as if human nature itself is the greatest monster he has to contend with.
That's a great way to put it. And it foreshadows a core theme, the profound, often tragic consequences of personal choices, even when divine powers are in play.
So, while our hero's out there somewhere, how are things looking back home in Ithaca?
Not good. Not good at all.
Because our dive really starts not with Odysseus himself, but with the ripple effects of his long, long absence.
The vacuum he left behind.
For 2 decades, Odysseus' son, Telemachus, has grown up under the oppressive weight of his father's absence. Can you imagine the pressure?
20 years without his father, watching his home. Well,
His home, the very heart of his inheritance, is overrun by arrogant suitors who are relentlessly consuming his household's wealth, disrespecting his family, and alarmingly, plotting against him.
it's an absolute domestic crisis, and it vividly highlights the devastating impact of a missing leader.
It's chaos.
Total chaos. And it's not just that Odysseus is gone, it's the complete breakdown of Xernia, that crucial ancient Greek concept of hospitality.
Right, that sacred guest-host relationship.
Exactly. The suitors aren't just unwelcome guests, they are parasitic noblemen actively eroding the foundations of Odysseus' kingdom, threatening Telemachus' inheritance, and even his life.
He's trapped in his own home, a boy trying to act like a man and feeling utterly powerless.
Completely powerless. It's a terrible situation for a young man.
You really see his burgeoning leadership, though still hesitant, when he tries to put his foot down. He confronts them, saying, "You suitors of my mother, who display such insolent arrogance, let us for now enjoy our banquet, but no more shouting.
He's trying, isn't he? Finding his voice.
In the morning, let us all assemble, sit down for a meeting, so I can speak and tell you firmly to depart my home."
He's really trying to assert himself.
He is, and that moment really shows his budding maturity. But the suitor's response is telling. Antinous, one of the lead instigators, immediately dismisses him,
Just shoots him down.
openly challenging Telemachus' authority. Telemachus, the gods themselves, it seems, are teaching you to be a braggart and give rash speeches. I do hope that Zeus does not make you king of this island Ithaca.
Wow, that's blunt.
This isn't just an insult, it's a direct political challenge, a refusal to acknowledge his legitimate claim to power, It underscores how deeply entrenched their sense of entitlement has become.
And meanwhile, his mother, Penelope, is also fighting back in her own quiet, incredibly cunning way. Oh, Penelope is brilliant. Just brilliant.
We learn later about her desperate tactic. Her vow to marry once she completed weaving a burial shroud for Laertes, Odysseus's elderly father.
The famous shroud.
But each night, she secretly unravels her day's work. As she tells the suitors, "Young men, those of you who are my suitors, you must wait till I complete this cloak." It is a shroud for warrior Laertes.
Buying time. It's ingenious.
This detail isn't just clever. It showcases her profound intelligence and her desperate longing for Odysseus's return. She's holding out hope.
This whole situation makes you consider the immense psychological toll on Telemachus. Growing up without a father, watching his inheritance disappear, feeling unable to act, it's a heavy burden.
Absolutely. What does that do to a person?
But it also shows us how vulnerable societies can be. Even those protected by tradition can quickly fall into chaos and exploitation without active, strong leadership.
The suitors aren't just a nuisance. They're a symptom of a deeper societal decay.
Exactly. A breakdown of order.
This domestic crisis, however, doesn't go unnoticed in the highest echelons of the divine realm.
No, the gods are watching. Always watching.
In the great hall of Olympian Zeus, a pivotal discussion unfolds. Zeus, the father of gods and men, reflects on the human tendency to blame the gods for their suffering.
He brings up Odysseus right away.
He cites the tragic example of Odysseus, who brought ruin upon himself through his own foolishness. Then Athena, goddess with the gleaming eyes, passionately advocates for Odysseus,
She's his champion.
highlighting his piety and undeserved torments at the hands of Poseidon.
This divine conversation establishes a fundamental philosophical tension right at the start of the epic. The intricate balance between predetermined divine will, often called fate, and the consequences of human free will and personal choices.
Fate versus free will, the age-old question.
Exactly. Zeus explicitly states that Odysseus' downfall was not set by fate, but resulted from his actions despite direct divine warnings.
He had a choice.
He did. Zeus laments, "It's disgraceful how humans blame the gods. They say their tribulations come from us, when they themselves, through their own foolishness, bring hardships which are not decreed by fate." It's a profound statement on human responsibility.
And Zeus even provides direct evidence against Odysseus's claims of unavoidable fate. He mentions that Hermes, the messenger god, explicitly warned Odysseus.
Sent Hermes specifically.
The keen-eyed killer of Argus told him not to slay the man or seduce his wife, for Orestes would avenge his father once he grew up and longed for his own land. So Odysseus knew the consequences. He made a choice.
Precisely. This puts the responsibility squarely on human choice. Athena's persistent plea for Odysseus, meanwhile, underscores the gods' individual loyalties and their capacity for intervention or even personal grievance.
They have their favorites and their enemies.
They certainly do. She asks Zeus, "Did not Odysseus offer you delightful sacrifices on Troy's far-reaching plain beside the ships? If so, why are you so angry with him?" It shows she's not just a detached observer.
And Zeus gives us a very clear answer, pinpointing Poseidon's specific anger. But Earthshaker Poseidon, a stubborn god, is still furious about that Cyclops, the one whose eye Odysseus destroyed, godlike Polyphemus.
Ah, the Cyclops incident. That's the root of Poseidon's rage.
This sets the stage for many of Odysseus' future struggles, confirming that his torment isn't random, but a direct consequence of a specific past action.
This raises a really important question for you, the listener. How much of our own suffering do we, through our choices, bring upon ourselves? And how much is truly beyond our control?
That's something to think about, definitely.
Does Zeus's perspective suggest a higher form of divine justice? Or are the gods, as Calypso later implies, just as prone to jealousy and personal vendettas as mortals?
Maybe a bit of both.
The text gives us strong arguments for both, and it's a tension that runs through the entire narrative.
With Athena's blessing, or at least Zeus's non-opposition, Telemachus embarks on his own journey, fueled by the slim hope of finding his father. It's a huge, courageous step.
Unnecessary step. He has to grow up fast.
Empowered by Athena, who often appears disguised as the wise old mentor,
His divine guide.
Telemachus embarks on a perilous voyage. He first travels to Pylos to seek counsel from the venerable King Nestor, then proceeds to Sparta to meet King Menelaus and the infamous Helen, gathering any intelligence about his long-lost father.
This Telemachy section is absolutely crucial for Telemachus's character arc, transforming him from a hesitant boy into a more confident and decisive young man.
He's really coming into his own here.
His encounters with these living legends of the Trojan War provide not only information about Odysseus, but also invaluable lessons in leadership, diplomacy, and the grim realities of the post-war world.
Learning from the greats, you could say.
He learns from their experiences, both triumphs and tragedies, slowly understanding the weight of his own lineage and the responsibilities that come with it.
He expresses his initial self-doubt and nervousness about speaking to elders, which is so relatable for a young man. Mentor, how shall I go there and greet him? I've had no practice with such formal speech.
He's intimidated, understandably.
And then, when a young man seeks to question an older one, his words could bring him shame. But Athena's right there to reassure him, reinforcing his divine favor. Telemachus, your heart will think of something, and power from heaven will provide the rest.
She boosts his confidence.
For I don't think that you were born and raised without being favored by the gods. That's a powerful endorsement, almost a prophecy of his own growth.
Indeed. And he gains vital insights. Nestor recounts the tragic fate of Agamemnon, murdered by Aegisthus upon his return from Troy,
A cautionary tale.
and the subsequent revenge by Orestes. Nestor points out that while they were fighting at Troy, Aegisthus was enjoying himself, tucked away in horse-breeding Argos, seeking to seduce the wife of Agamemnon with his talk.
So while the heroes were fighting, this guy was plotting.
Exactly. This story serves as a powerful, albeit dark, blueprint for Telemachus's potential actions in Ithaca, a tale of just retribution.
It gives him an example, maybe even permission.
Perhaps. Then, Helen, in Sparta, has an uncanny recognition of Telemachus, based on his striking resemblance to Odysseus, saying, I can't say I've ever seen someone who looks so much like someone else. This man looks just like the son of brave Odysseus. I mean, Telemachus.
That must have been a powerful moment for him.
A powerful moment of recognition, even before his father's actual return. It connects him directly to his heroic lineage.
And Menelaus shares his harrowing tale of wrestling Proteus, the old man of the sea,
Who could change shapes. An amazing encounter.
who revealed not only Odysseus's current plight, but also the details of Agamemnon's murder and Orestes' vengeance, and even Menelaus' own fate of going to the Elysian fields.
So much revealed there. Proteus knows a lot.
Proteus's words, recounted by Menelaus, highlight the importance of proper religious observance. Before you left, you should have offered a fine sacrifice to Zeus and other gods so you could sail across the wine-dark sea and then arrive in your own land as fast as possible.
A reminder to respect the gods. Always.
Plus, we get the fascinating detail of Helen's use of a powerful drug obtained from Egypt to soothe sorrow and make them forget their troubles, highlighting her wisdom and the mysterious resources of the ancient world.
That Egyptian drug.
Yeah.
It's quite something. Makes you think about dealing with grief and trauma.
So how does hearing the story of Orestes' revenge against Aegisthus, a clear tale of just retribution, inspire Telemachus to reclaim his own home?
It gives him a model, I think.
Yeah.
A precedent for a son defending his father's honor and legacy.
And what does Helen's ability to manipulate emotions with a drug suggest about the nature of truth and perception in this epic?
It raises questions, doesn't it? Can sorrow be truly erased or just masked? What is genuine feeling versus induced calm?
Furthermore, Menelaus' detailed account of wrestling Proteus, who could change himself into all sorts of shapes, exemplifies the challenges of pinning down truth and identity in a world where appearances are constantly shifting.
It's a profound lesson for Telemachus in discerning reality from illusion. You have to hold on tight to get the truth.
It sounds like he's learning that leadership isn't just about strength, but also about discernment and understanding the deep currents of human and divine behavior.
Exactly. He's preparing for a world where outward appearances can be deceiving, and cunning is often a greater weapon than a sword. He needs to be as resourceful as his father.
While Telemachus is growing into his own, the true hero of our story is still stranded, far from home, under a goddess's spell, yearning for the very smoke of Ithaca.
Lost but not forgotten. Not by Athena, anyway.
Now, let's shift our focus to the man himself, Odysseus, as he navigates a world filled with divine wrath and monstrous challenges, recounting his journey to a captive Odysseus.
And what a story he has to tell.
For 7 long years, Odysseus has been held captive on the idyllic island of Ogygia by the nymph Calypso.
7 years. That's a long time to be away, even after the war.
Despite the incredible beauty of the island and Calypso's tempting offer of immortality, Odysseus yearns to see even the smoke rising from Ithaca and longs for death.
That line is heartbreaking. Immortality means nothing without home.
It's such a powerful line, repeated in the text, illustrating his profound homesickness. Finally, Hermes, sent by Zeus, commands Calypso to release him.
The order comes from the top.
Though resentful of the gods' perceived double standards and jealousy regarding goddesses loving mortal men, Calypso aids Odysseus in building a sturdy raft.
She's not happy about it, but she obeys Zeus. Mostly.
This episode powerfully underscores the theme of divine intervention, but more importantly, the relentless human yearning for home, even over eternal comfort.
That yearning drives him. It's stronger than any magic or temptation.
The description of Calypso's island is enchanting. All around her in the cave trees were in bloom, alder and sweet-smelling cypress, a garden vine fully ripe and loaded with rich grapes.
It sounds like paradise, doesn't it?
Hmm.
From 4 fountains, clear water streamed out. Soft meadows spread out in full bloom with fresh violets and parsley.
Even a god who lives forever coming there would be amazed to gaze at it, and his heart would fill with pleasure.
But this idyllic setting contrasts sharply with Odysseus's profound sadness. As he spends his days sitting by the sea, his eyes always full of tears because he was squandering his sweet life, mourning for his return.
Just staring out at the sea, wanting to go home.
His unwavering desire for Ithaca, resisting seductive offers, clinging to his mortal life and family, is his defining characteristic here.
And Calypso, she doesn't hold back, does she? Her bitter accusation to Hermes is quite a meta-commentary on the Olympian pantheon.
She calls them out on their hypocrisy.
She says the gods are cruel and far too jealous, more so than others. They are unhappy if goddesses make mortal men their partners, taking them to bed for sex.
She brings up examples, too, like Dawn and Orion.
When rose-fingered Dawn wanted Orion, Zeus heard of it and utterly destroyed him by throwing down his dazzling lightning bolt. It highlights their biases and power dynamics, a powerful statement on divine hypocrisy.
It truly does. And despite her resentment, Calypso aids Odysseus in building his raft, showcasing his extraordinary craftsmanship.
He's not just a talker, he can build things too.
Oh, yeah. The text details his meticulous work. Then he worked to fasten the deck, attaching it onto the close-set timbers and then finished it with extended gunnels. Next, he set up a mast, and then carved out a steering oar.
He's basically building a seaworthy vessel from scratch.
From stem to stern, he wove a lattice of willow reeds, reinforced with wood to protect him from the waves. It's a testament to his resourcefulness, even after years of captivity.
This makes you wonder about the nature of free will when divine intervention is so direct. But also, what does Calypso's island, with its seemingly perfect beauty, represent in the broader human experience for you?
That's a good question.
Is it a symbol of seductive comfort that distracts from one's true purpose, or a trap that tests the limits of loyalty?
I think it's both, really. It's the ultimate golden cage. It poses the question, would you choose eternal bliss and comfort, but without your true identity and purpose?
Give up everything that makes you you.
Or would you endure endless hardship to reclaim what is fundamentally yours? Odysseus's choice is clear, and it speaks to the core human need for meaning and belonging over mere existence.
He chooses mortality, struggle, and home.
Every time.
But even with divine aid and his own impressive craftsmanship, his journey home is far from smooth. Poseidon, the Earthshaker, still holds a deep grudge.
He hasn't forgotten the Cyclops. Not one bit.
And the ocean will soon become his battleground once more.
Odysseus is back on the water, but his biggest obstacle is waiting.
Just as Odysseus sets sail, Poseidon, returning from the distant Ethiopians, spots him from afar. Enraged that Odysseus is nearing the land of the Phaeacians, he unleashes a monstrous storm, shattering Odysseus's raft.
Terrible timing for Odysseus. Perfect timing for Poseidon's revenge.
The sea goddess Ino, daughter of Cadmus, comes to his aid, giving him a magical, deathless veil to protect him as he swims.
Another bit of divine intervention, but this time from a different corner.
After a harrowing struggle, Odysseus, utterly exhausted and stripped bare, washes ashore in Phaeacia.
Barely alive, washed up like driftwood.
This terrifying sequence vividly illustrates Odysseus's profound helplessness against the raw, unbridled power of nature and an enraged deity.
You really feel his vulnerability here.
Poseidon's immediate and furious reaction is palpable, but at that moment, the powerful Earthshaker, returning from the Ethiopians, saw him from the distant mountaintops of the Selene. Poseidon watched Odysseus sailing on the sea, and his spirit grew enraged.
Pure fury, he even talks to himself. Something's wrong. The gods must have changed what they were planning for Odysseus while I've been far away among the Ethiopians.
He feels like he's been undermined by the other gods.
Exactly. His survival is a testament to both miraculous divine intervention from Ino and later Athena's guidance, and his own indomitable will and resourcefulness in the face of overwhelming odds.
The storm sequence itself is so visceral, the text tells us, just as an autumn north wind sweeps the thistledown along the plain and the tufts bunch up together, that's how the winds then blasted his raft to and fro.
What a great image. Total chaos, no control.
It really paints a picture of his fragile boundary between life and death on the open sea. And Eno's instructions are so specific for survival. Take off your clothes, and then, with all your strength, swim onto land.
Abandon the raft, trust the magic veil.
But when your hand can grab the shore, then take it off and throw it far from land into the wine-dark sea and turn away. It's a precise, almost ritualistic set of instructions, which he follows.
And it works. His profound relief upon seeing land is beautifully described. Just as young children rejoice to see life in a father who lies sick, in savage pain through a lengthy, wasting illness. That is how Odysseus rejoiced when he could see the land and forests.
Such a powerful simile, the relief of survival.
The contrast between the storm's chaos and the precise life-saving instructions from Ino highlights the specific nature of divine aid, which often requires human cooperation.
You have to do your part.
Exactly. How might this experience of total vulnerability shape Odysseus' perspective on power and control? And what is Poseidon's frustration? Something's wrong. Tell us about the limits of even a god's will.
It suggests that maybe fate, or perhaps the combined will of other gods like Zeus and Athena, can sometimes override even a powerful god's personal vendetta.
It suggests that even the mightiest gods are not omnipotent in the face of other divine plans or the sheer will of a determined mortal. And it shows that even the divine realm has its internal politics.
So he lands, seemingly defeated and utterly exhausted, in a strange land, but finds unexpected kindness from a young princess. A lucky break, perhaps.
Or divinely orchestrated, as we'll see. Nothing is truly random for Odysseus. Athena's always working behind the scenes.
Athena, always looking out for Odysseus, appears to Nausicaa, the beautiful princess of the Phaeacians, in a dream, subtly urging her to wash clothes by the river.
A very convenient dream for Odysseus.
This leads quite directly to Nausicaa's encounter with the naked, salt-encrusted Odysseus. Through a masterful display of eloquent supplication and cunning, Odysseus wins her favor.
Even naked and shipwrecked, he knows how to talk.
Impressed by his speech and presence, Nausicaa guides him towards the city and the palace of her parents, King Alcinous and Queen Arete.
This episode truly showcases Odysseus' extraordinary social intelligence and persuasive skills, even when he is at his most vulnerable. Athena's subtle manipulation of Nausicaa's dreams is key.
Planting the idea.
Nausicaa, how did your mother bear a girl so careless? Your fine clothes are lying here untended, and soon enough you'll have your wedding day. It's a nudge that leads to a pivotal encounter.
A nudge towards the river where Odysseus happens to be.
Exactly. The Phaeacians are depicted as an almost utopian society, living in harmony with the gods, known for their swift ships and hospitality. Their readiness to help a stranger sets the ideal context for Odysseus to finally reveal his identity and recount his epic journey.
A safe haven, finally.
A world that stands in stark contrast to his own troubled Ithaca.
His initial appearance after the shipwreck is quite fearsome, a shocking sight. Like a mountain lion, his face stained with sea salt. Going to attack a herd of cattle or a group of sheep.
He must have looked terrifying.
So he thought it best to try with soothing words to speak to them. And his masterful, flattering speech to Nausicaa is a perfect example of his cunning, even in destitution. "O divine queen, I come here as a suppliant to you. Are you a goddess or a mortal being?"
Smooth. Very smooth. He knows how to appeal to her.
If you're one of the gods who hold wide heaven, I think you most resemble Artemis, daughter of great Zeus, in your loveliness, your stature, and your shape. You can absolutely see why she was impressed, even if he looks like a wild man.
He wins her over instantly. And the dazzling description of Alcinous' palace and orchard is a stark contrast to the ruined state of Ithaca that Odysseus will eventually return to.
Tell us about that palace.
We're talking bronze walls, gold doors, 50 female servants, gold and silver dogs guarding the entrance, fruit trees that bear year-round. It paints a picture of almost divine prosperity and stability.
Wow. Paradise found, almost.
This is also where the blind bard Demodocus sings tales of the Trojan War, causing Odysseus to weep uncontrollably, unnoticed by all but Alcinous.
Hearing about Troy, it must bring back so much pain.
The source notes that the muse gave him both bad and good, for she destroyed his eyes, but then bestowed on him the gift of pleasing song. This is a poignant detail, perhaps a subtle nod to Homer himself, who was traditionally depicted as blind.
It's interesting how the idealized society of the Phaeacians serves as such a stark contrast to the tumultuous Ithaca Odysseus is returning to. And it begs the question, why is Odysseus so wary of revealing his identity, even to these kind strangers?
He's learned the hard way not to trust easily.
His eloquence in such a vulnerable state shows his core identity, though. He's still Odysseus.
It speaks to the complexity of the hero. He needs to test the waters to understand his environment and the intentions of his hosts before revealing himself. It's a strategy honed by years of hardship and treachery,
He can't afford another mistake.
showing that cunning is not merely a tool for adventure, but a deeply embedded aspect of his identity, essential for survival and successful return.
With a receptive and empathetic audience, Odysseus finally begins to recount his incredible, harrowing journey since leaving Troy. This is where we get the real story.
The great flashback begins. Books 9 through 12.
At Alcinous's court, Odysseus finally reveals his true identity and embarks on what is arguably the greatest storytelling performance of all time, narrating his 10 years of wandering.
He holds them absolutely captivated.
He tells of his battle with the Cicones, the alluring lotus eaters, the terrifying encounter with the Cyclops Polyphemus,
Oh, the Cyclops. Probably the most famous part.
the disastrous visit to Aeolus and the Bag of Winds, the encounter with the cannibalistic Laestrygonians, his year-long stay with the sorceress Circe,
Turning his men into pigs.
and finally, his harrowing descent to the underworld to consult the blind prophet Tiresias. What a whirlwind.
This lengthy narrative serves as the heart of the Odyssey, a masterclass in epic storytelling that showcases Odysseus' multifaceted character, his cunning, his leadership, and the fatal flaws of his men, his capacity for immense suffering, and his unyielding determination.
He lays it all out for them.
His powerful self-introduction to the Phaeacians perfectly sets the stage. I am Odysseus, son of Laertes, well known to all for my deceptive skills. My fame stretches all the way to heaven. I live in Ithaca. It's a bold declaration after years of anonymity.
My reputation precedes me, basically.
Pretty much. And the repeated motif of his men's foolishness is so striking throughout these adventures.
It comes up again and again.
For instance, in the Cicones episode, his men's fatal foolishness is explicit. But the men were foolish. They did not listen. They drank too much wine and on the shoreline slaughtered many sheep, as well as shambling cows with twisted horns.
They got greedy and paid the price.
The Cicones set off and gathered of their neighbors. 6 from every ship were killed. This directly links to Zeus's earlier pronouncement about human self-destruction.
Right, people bringing hardship on themselves.
That's a crucial point, the continuous thread of human error leading to suffering. Then there's Polyphemus, the Cyclops, a creature of monstrous savagery and utter disregard for divine law.
He doesn't care about the gods at all.
He proclaims, "What fools you strangers are, telling me to fear the gods, to shun their rage. The Cyclops care nothing about Zeus. We are much more powerful than they are.
Openly defiant.
I would not spare you or your companions to escape the wrath of Zeus." And he proves it by brutally snatching 2 of my men and gorged himself.
Just horrific.
Against this raw power, Odysseus' ingenious nobody, trick-telling Polyphemus his name is Nobody. So when the Cyclops cries out, his neighbors interpret it as, if nobody is hurting you and you're alone, it must be sickness given by great Zeus. Allows Odysseus and his men to escape hidden under the sheep.
So clever. Using the giant's own assumptions against him.
He vividly describes it. I grabbed its back, then swung myself below its fleecy gut and lay there face upwards with my fingers clutching its amazing fleece. It's a perfect example of his wit against brute force.
And then the gods continued judgment. Aeolus, after giving Odysseus a bag of winds, harshly refuses to help again after the men's greed causes their return,
Because the men opened the bag thinking it was treasure.
saying, "Of all living mortals, you are the worst, so you must leave this island with all speed. It would violate all sense of what is right if I helped out or guided on his way a man the blessed gods must hate."
Harsh words, basically saying, you're cursed, get out.
Then the cannibalistic Laestrygonians destroy all but one of his ships, and Circe's infamous transformation of his men into pigs. These early challenges really set the tone, don't they?
They absolutely do. Each one is a test not only of physical strength, but of wits, morality, and loyalty, or the lack thereof.
He's constantly being tested.
The journey to Hades in particular is a symbolic death and rebirth. Here, he confronts his past, learns his future, and receives warnings that shape the remainder of his journey.
Going down to the land of the dead, that's intense.
Tiresias' crucial prophecy warns of Poseidon's wrath, the sacred cattle of Helios, and the need for a final journey inland with an oar. I don't think you can evade Poseidon, whose heart is angry at you, full of rage because you blinded his dear son.
So Poseidon's anger is confirmed.
But still, though you will suffer, you may still get home if you will curb your comrades in your heart. If you leave them unharmed and keep your mind, then I think you may get back to Ithaca. But if you harm them, then I foresee destruction for your ship and crew. It's a stark choice.
Control yourself and your men or face total destruction.
Very much.
And Agamemnon's bitter warning from the underworld, recounting Clytemnestra's betrayal and murder, advises Odysseus never to fully trust his wife upon his return.
Which must have been chilling for Odysseus to hear.
That woman, more than anyone, has covered herself and women born in years to come with shame, even the ones whose deeds are virtuous. And the punishments of the eternally tormented Tantalus, Sisyphus, Tydeus, with two vultures ripping his liver serve as stark moral lessons.
Don't cross the gods, don't betray oaths. The consequences are eternal.
Indeed, the journey to Hades functions as a profound psychological experience for Odysseus, forcing him to confront mortality, learn from past tragedies, and preparing him for the trials ahead.
How does Odysseus's masterful storytelling ability shape his image as a hero for his Phaeacian audience and for us?
Well, it certainly makes him seem incredibly resourceful and resilient, doesn't it? He's survived all that.
And what does the repeated motif of his men's foolishness and disregard for warnings tell us about human nature in the face of temptation or hardship?
It's a sobering reminder, I think, that maybe we're often our own worst enemies. That temptation and short-sightedness can lead to ruin even when we've been warned.
It truly hammers home that human folly can be as destructive as any monster, and often more so because it comes from within.
From the depths of Hades and the wisdom of Tiresias, his journey continues to its final, most treacherous leg, leading to more profound loss.
He's not out of the woods yet, far from it.
Following Circe's detailed instructions, Odysseus and his crew navigate further perils. Odysseus, famously, has his men tie him to the mast so he can hear the irresistible song of the sirens without succumbing to their lure.
The only man to hear their song and live, but only because he planned ahead.
He gives them specific instructions. Make your crew tie you down in your swift ship. Stand there with hands and feet lashed to the mast. If you start to beg your men or order them to let you go, make sure they lash you there with still more rope.
He knows his own weakness. That's part of his strength.
They then face the terrifying strait between the six-headed monster Scylla, who devours 6 of his men, and the whirlpool Charybdis.
An impossible choice. Lose 6 men for sure, or risk losing everyone.
Scylla is described vividly as having a dreadful yelp. She's a vicious beast. No mortal man would feel good seeing her. She has 12 feet all deformed, 6 enormously long necks, with a horrible head on each.
Nightmare fuel. Pure nightmare fuel.
This sequence represents the ultimate tests of Odysseus's leadership, self-control, and the tragic consequences of his men's disobedience.
And the final test is the deadliest.
Finally, against strict divine warnings and a solemn oath, his men, driven by hunger, slaughter, and feast on the sacred cattle of Helios, the sun god, on the island of Thrinacia.
After everything, they still break the oath.
Odysseus's stern warning to his men about Helios's cattle, echoing Tiresias and Circe, is clear. Friends, it's not right that only 1 or 2 should know the prophecies revealed to me by the lovely goddess Circe.
He shares the warning. He tries to protect them.
She told me, first of all, we should guard against the wondrous voices of the sirens. She said I alone should listen to them, and he makes them swear an oath. If by chance we find a herd of cattle or a large flock of sheep, not one of you will be so overcome with foolishness that you will kill a cow or sheep.
A direct command, reinforced by an oath, and still.
But the men, swayed by Eurylochus's desperate plea, shipmates, although you're suffering distress, hear me out. For wretched human beings, all forms of death are hateful. But to die from lack of food, to meet one's fate like that is worst of all. Break their oath.
Hunger overcomes fear, overcomes piety. It's a tragic human moment.
The sheer desperation is palpable.
And the consequences are absolute. The loss of his entire crew, directly attributable to their foolishness and disregard for divine warnings, perfectly illustrates Zeus's earlier philosophical pronouncement.
They brought it on themselves, just like Zeus said.
As punishment, Zeus destroys their ship with a lightning bolt, fulfilling the prophecy. Then I foresee destruction for your ship and crew. Even if you yourself escape, then you'll get home with all your comrades lost.
Total destruction.
The ship is shattered by a flaming lightning bolt thrown down. This leaves Odysseus as the sole survivor who drifts once again to Calypso's island, beginning the cycle we heard about earlier. On the 10th night, I was guided to Ogygia by the gods.
Back to square one alone. This ultimate loss, the sacrifice of all his men, must profoundly shape Odysseus. Does it deepen his resolve for revenge, or does it add to the burden of survivors' guilt?
I think it does both.
Yeah.
He carries that loss, the weight of their deaths, but it also hardens him.
This section also provokes thought about the choices we make under extreme duress and the unseen forces that may judge us.
It undeniably deepens his resolve, solidifying his understanding that the responsibility for failure often lies with individual choices, despite divine influence. This loss is a crucible, forging the hardened hero who will ultimately reclaim his home.
He's learned the hardest lessons now.
Understanding the true cost of disobedience and the weight of his own survival, he has lost everything but his life, and the lessons are etched into his soul.
After years of untold suffering and unimaginable loss, Odysseus, the solitary survivor, finally reaches the shores of Ithaca, but his ordeal is far from over.
The journey home is just the beginning of the homecoming.
So the lone survivor, Odysseus, finally reaches his beloved Ithaca. But this isn't the joyous, triumphant return he dreamt of. Instead, it's a calculated, dangerous game requiring his famous cunning.
He can't just walk back in. Not after 20 years.
The benevolent Phaeacians, renowned for their swift ships, deliver Odysseus to Ithaca while he is deep in sleep, laden with many precious gifts.
They treat him like royalty, a final act of kindness.
Their ship is described as incredibly fast. Not even wheeling hawks in flight, the swiftest of all flying things, could match her speed as she raced ahead, slicing through the ocean waves, bearing on board a man whose mind was like a god's.
Almost magically fast. But that kindness, it has consequences.
However, Poseidon, still nursing his fierce grudge, intercepts their returning ship near the harbor. In a dramatic act of vengeance, he transforms the vessel into stone and raises a formidable ring of mountains around the Phaeacian city, fulfilling an ancient prophecy.
A chilling reminder of Poseidon's power and wrath. He punishes them for helping Odysseus.
Odysseus awakens, disoriented and unable to recognize his homeland, until Athena appears, revealing his true location and disguising him as an old beggar.
Poseidon's final act of retribution against the Phaeacians underscores the immutable consequences of divine anger and the perils of extending hospitality that defies a god's will. He complains to Zeus, saying, "Father Zeus, the immortal gods will honor me no more, for these men pay me no respect at all, these Phaeacians.
He feels disrespected.
For I clearly said Odysseus should suffer much misfortune before he made it home. I'd not rob him of his return completely, but these men carried him, while still asleep, over the sea in their swift ship."
They defied his will, essentially.
And the dramatic fulfillment of the prophecy sees Poseidon turn the ship into stone, close to the shore, a rock that looks just like a racing ship. All men will be amazed, then raise a ring of mountains round their town, cutting them off.
Odysseus's immediate confusion upon waking is striking. Where am I now? Whose strange country have I come to this time? Are they violent, unjust, and cruel, or do they welcome strangers? Do their minds respect the gods?
He doesn't even recognize Ithaca. It's been too long. Or maybe Athena veiled it initially.
This emphasizes the profound changes wrought by time and his prolonged absence. He literally doesn't know his own home.
Athena's unwavering presence and strategic assistance highlight her role as Odysseus' divine patron, orchestrating his secret return and laying the groundwork for his intricate plan of revenge.
She's got his back. Always.
She clearly reveals herself and her plans for him. Still, you failed to recognize Athena, daughter of Zeus, who's always at your side, looking out for you in every crisis. Now I have come to weave a scheme with you and hide these goods Phaeacian noblemen offered.
Time to plot.
Her crucial counsel regarding his disguise and the need for absolute secrecy is vital. Don't tell anyone, no man or woman, you have returned from wandering around. Instead, keep silent. Bear the many pains. When men act like savages, do nothing.
Patience. Observation. That's the plan.
For now.
The transformation of the Phaeacian ship into stone is a powerful visual metaphor. What does this tell us about the risks of defying divine will, even when acting out of generosity?
It shows that even good intentions can have dire consequences in a world governed by powerful, often vengeful gods. Hospitality is valued, but not above a god's decree.
And how does Odysseus's immediate resort to cunning and disguise, even before recognizing his home, demonstrate the ingrained nature of his famous resourcefulness?
It shows that cunning is not merely a tool for adventure, but a deeply embedded aspect of his identity, honed by survival. He's always assessing, always planning, always testing.
It's second nature now.
Even after all he's endured, his first instinct is caution and strategy, not triumphant reveal. It's a testament to how profoundly his journey has shaped him.
Under Athena's precise guidance, Odysseus begins his secret return, seeking out a loyal old friend who embodies the enduring spirit of his forgotten kingdom.
Eumaeus the swineherd, a truly noble soul.
Disguised as a ragged old beggar, Odysseus makes his way to the humble dwelling of his faithful swineherd, Eumaeus. Unaware of the beggar's true identity, Eumaeus welcomes him with profound hospitality.
True Xenia, even to a beggar.
Lamenting his beloved master's prolonged absence and the destructive behavior of the suitors, Odysseus, through a carefully constructed, fabricated tale of his own past, cunningly tests Eumaeus's unwavering loyalty and subtly hints at Odysseus's eventual return.
Eumaeus's unwavering devotion, spanning 2 decades, stands in stark contrast to the treachery of the suitors and the disloyalty of some other servants.
He represents loyalty itself.
His exemplary Xenia towards a complete stranger underscores the vital importance of hospitality as a fundamental virtue in ancient Greek society. He expresses his deep grief and enduring loyalty. I am full of sorrow for my noble master, who's probably going hungry someplace else.
He still cares deeply after all this time.
As he wanders through the lands and cities where men speak a foreign tongue, if in fact he's still alive, looking at the sunlight. But follow me, old man, come in the hut.
Even his simple, heartfelt hospitality is touching. He makes a bed for Odysseus, piling some leafy twigs and over them spreading out the rough, shaggy skin of a wild goat, the large and hairy hide which covered his own bed.
Giving the best he has. It's incredibly moving.
Odysseus's elaborate fabricated story, including adventures in Egypt and a Phoenician betrayal, allows him to gather crucial intelligence about the state of his household and kingdom, assess loyalty, and maintain his cover.
He's testing Eumaeus, gathering info. It showcases his famous deceptive skills, even in mundane conversation. He weaves a tale of a storied life, saying, I killed a dear son of the Dominus in spacious Crete. I remained there 7 years, amassing wealth. Then the 8th year came. A Phoenician man arrived, a greedy rogue. Well, he won me over with his cunning.
He even offers a solemn oath to prove his conviction, promising a reward if his prophecy of Odysseus's return comes true. Testing Eumaeus's hope, maybe?
And testing his reaction to the idea of Odysseus returning.
And Eumaeus's own backstory, that he was kidnapped as a child by Phoenician pirates and sold to Laertes, adds such depth to his character and explains his profound understanding of suffering and displacement.
He knows what it's like to be lost and at the mercy of others.
The deep, unshakable bond between Eumaeus and his absent master is truly moving. What does this relationship tell us about the ideals of loyalty and service in ancient society?
It speaks to the enduring power of true loyalty, a quality that Odysseus values above all else upon his return. Eumaeus represents the steadfast, unwavering heart of Ithaca that has survived the long absence.
A rock in the storm.
A symbol of hope and tradition amidst chaos. His own history makes his compassion for the beggar even more profound, highlighting a shared humanity despite their vastly different stations.
This crucial reunion with a loyal servant sets the stage for the most emotional and strategic alliance yet. The reunion of father and son.
The moment Telemachus has been waiting for his whole life.
Athena actively orchestrates events, calling Telemachus back to Ithaca from Sparta and advising him to first visit Eumaeus's farm.
Pulling the strings, setting the scene.
In a moment charged with emotion, Athena temporarily restores Odysseus's true appearance, allowing him to reveal his identity to his son.
The big reveal.
Their tearful reunion is quickly followed by a detailed and pragmatic discussion, where they meticulously devise a strategy to confront and overcome the overwhelming numbers of the suitors.
This deeply emotional reunion forms a core of our deep dive, symbolizing the restoration of family bonds and the rekindling of a powerful ancestral lineage. Athena's direct command to Telemachus to return is urgent.
Get home now.
Telemachus, it's not good to wander much longer from your home, abandoning your property and leaving in your house such overbearing men who may divide and use up all your goods.
Telemachus's initial welcome of the beggar into the hut is gracious. Stay put, stranger. We'll find a seat somewhere inside this hut. Here's a man who will arrange that for us, showing good hospitality like Eumaeus taught him.
Exactly. And then, the dramatic reveal. Athena touched him with her golden wand, making his skin smooth, filling out his cheeks, making his beard dark once again.
It's like a Hollywood transformation, instant hero makeover.
Pretty much. and Odysseus' powerful revelation to his son. Son of Laertes, adventurous Odysseus, sprung from Zeus, now's the time to speak to your own son. It's incredibly moving after so long.
The reunion itself is likened to animals in distress, a raw, primal expression of grief and joy.
Such a powerful simile.
Telemachus embraced his noble father, cried out, and shed tears. A desire to lament arose in both of them. They both wailed aloud as insistently as birds, like two sea eagles or hawks with curving talons whose young chicks have been carried off.
That image of the birds, it captures the intensity, the loss, the reunion. Their subsequent strategic discussion is a masterclass in military planning.
Okay, emotions done. Now down business.
Highlighting Odysseus' meticulous foresight and his realistic assessment of the daunting odds they face. It marks the shift from passive suffering to active, calculated retribution, especially with the crucial plan to hide the weapons.
The weapons plan is key.
Odysseus instructs, Telemachus, all these war weapons we must stash inside, and when the suitors notice they're not there and ask you questions, then reassure them using gentle language. I put them away in a place far from the smoke, they've been tarnished.
A clever excuse. How does Telemachus' initial disbelief and eventual passionate acceptance of his father deepen the emotional resonance of this reunion?
It makes it real. His shock, his doubt, then the overwhelming joy it feels earned. It's not just, oh, hello, Dad. It's 20 years of waiting exploding into recognition.
And this detailed explanation of hiding the weapons reveals Odysseus' tactical genius and his understanding of the psychological warfare necessary to overcome superior numbers, doesn't it?
It's the ultimate confirmation for Telemachus, transforming him from a boy searching for a father into a man fighting alongside his king. This tactical brilliance shows Odysseus' capacity for foresight, turning apparent weakness, their small numbers, into a strategic advantage.
Disarming the enemy before the fight even starts.
It's not just about brute force, it's about setting the stage for total control.
With their plan firmly established, Odysseus, once again disguised, enters his own palace, where the unchecked arrogance and danger of the suitors are palpable.
Walking into the lion's den.
Disguised as an old beggar, Odysseus re-enters his own palace. He is recognized by his ancient, loyal dog, Argus, who, after years of waiting, dies upon seeing his master.
Oh, Argus, that scene is just devastating.
So much loyalty in that old dog.
Odysseus silently endures a barrage of insults and abuse from the suitors, particularly from the vicious goatherd Melanthius and the lead suitor Antinous. Despite her deep skepticism regarding Odysseus' return, Penelope extends cautious hospitality to the stranger and questions him, hoping for news.
This phase of reconnaissance is a severe test of Odysseus' self-control and patience. He must just sit there and take it.
The suitors' egregious behavior and constant disrespect highlight their moral corruption, building an undeniable justification for the brutal retribution to come.
They're basically digging their own graves with every insult.
Pretty much. The poignant death of Argus just upon recognizing his master after 19 years is incredibly moving. But once he'd seen Odysseus after 19 years, Argus died, seized by the fatal clutch of death.
He held on just long enough.
This serves as a powerful symbol of the long passage of time and the profound suffering endured by all loyal to Odysseus.
And the insults are just constant, aren't they? Melanthius hurls cruel insults at Odysseus and Eumaeus. Now here we have a truly filthy man leading on another filthy scoundrel. You wretched swineherd, where are you off to with this disgusting pig?
Just pure contempt. No respect at all.
Then Antinous, showing his extreme arrogance and aggression, strikes Odysseus with a stool, calling him a pest, refusing him food, and then Antinous picked up a stool and struck Odysseus on his right shoulder blade.
Hating a guest, a beggar? It's the ultimate violation of Xenia.
It's such a brazen act. Odysseus' remarkable self-control and endurance through this is extraordinary.
He must be boiling inside.
My heart can bear all that, for I've put up with numerous hardships in war and on the waves, so let all this be added to those. He just endures it.
He endures it because he needs to assess the situation fully. Penelope's continued caution, despite hopeful signs, underscores the depth of her trauma and her fear of being deceived by false pretenders.
She can't afford to hope too much.
She offers a cautious welcome of the beggar, seeking news. Your enemy, fetch a chair over here with a thick fleece so the stranger can sit down, talk to me, and hear me out. I want to question him. Still testing, still wary.
What does Odysseus learn from enduring these insults in his own home? How does the motif of disguise serve as a powerful tool for achieving justice, allowing the hero to observe unfiltered truth?
He learns the true measure of their depravity, confirming his resolve for vengeance. The disguise is his shield, allowing him to gather intelligence and witness the extent of the corruption firsthand,
Seeing them as they truly are.
ensuring his retribution is fully justified and absolute. It's a calculated strategy that allows him to see beyond the masks.
Argus's death is a stark reminder of the passage of time and the cost of waiting.
A moment of pure pathos before the storm breaks.
The tension mounts steadily as Odysseus endures further humiliation and Penelope continues to seek answers, unknowingly drawing closer to the truth.
You can feel a climax approaching.
As Odysseus bides his time, disguised as a beggar, the atmosphere in the palace grows increasingly volatile, pushing everyone to their breaking points and signaling the inevitable climax.
The pressure is building.
A rival beggar named Iris, known for his greed, challenges Odysseus to a physical fight, egged on by the cruel Antinous.
The suitors think this will be entertaining sport.
Antinous' cruel amusement and encouragement of the fight is evident. My friends, here's something we've not seen before. A god has sent this house some entertainment. There's a quarrel, Iris and the stranger. Let's get them started now.
Treating human conflict as a game, it shows their callousness.
Odysseus, though disguised, easily defeats Iris with a single measured blow, impressing some of the suitors.
A little glimpse of the power hidden beneath the rags.
Amphinomus, a seemingly more honorable suitor, offers Odysseus food and drink, prompting Odysseus to issue a cryptic warning of the impending doom.
This minor triumph, while seemingly insignificant, subtly reestablishes Odysseus's formidable physical prowess and further humiliates the suitors by demonstrating their foolishness in provoking the wrong man.
They picked a fight with the wrong beggar.
Odysseus's swift and decisive victory over Iris. Odysseus then struck him on his neck, just below his ear, and crushed the bones. Immediately, blood came flowing from his mouth. He fell down, moaning in the dirt, grinding his teeth. Is a chilling glimpse of his true power.
A warning shot, almost.
Odysseus' warning to Amphinomus, a suitor who displays a rare spark of decency, highlights his capacity for discerning between the truly wicked and those who are merely misguided.
He sees something different in Amphinomus.
He says, Amphinomus, you seem to be a man with true intelligence. I'll tell you something you should keep in mind. Of all that breathe and move on earth, no creature is more helpless than a human being.
A philosophical warning.
He warns him to leave the house before Odysseus returns, because those suitors would soon enough see their bitter courtship end in a swift death. A direct warning.
Why does Odysseus issue this specific warning to Amphinomus, who will ultimately still die? Does it show a glimpse of a different form of justice, or just a calculated attempt to sow doubt among the suitors?
It could be both. It reveals a nuanced side of Odysseus, a recognition of potential decency even amidst corruption. He sees the good in him.
But fate, or maybe just being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Exactly. It also serves as a final, ironic warning that even well-meaning individuals can be caught in the sweep of inevitable collective punishment. It's a moment of mercy, but one that tragically goes unheeded, underscoring the suitor's collective moral decay.
The suitors' amusement at this brutal spectacle further reveals their depravity. They just don't get it.
No, they are completely blind to the danger they're in.
The taunts continue, and the true extent of the suitors' arrogant disregard for justice becomes undeniable, even as truth whispers in the halls.
Penelope senses something, doesn't she?
Penelope, driven by a deep longing and lingering suspicion, brings the beggar to her chamber for a private interview. Odysseus, maintaining his disguise, provides convincing details about her husband.
Details only Odysseus could know. About clothes, companions.
Which stirs her grief and causes her to weep uncontrollably. Later, as the old nurse Euryclea washes the beggar's feet, she recognizes Odysseus by a distinctive boar-hunting scar on his leg.
The scar, the undeniable proof.
Odysseus, with remarkable swiftness and secrecy, silences her. Penelope, still struggling with her grief and uncertainty, laments her fate, unknowing how close she is to the truth.
This is a profoundly pivotal and emotionally charged scene, meticulously building the narrative tension towards Penelope's eventual full recognition. The scar, a physical testament to Odysseus's past adventures and identity, serves as irrefutable proof for the loyal Euryclea,
She knows it instantly.
linking the present beggar to the long-lost king. Penelope's cautious nature, deeply ingrained after years of uncertainty and deception by suitors, makes her slow to believe, highlighting the trauma she has endured.
She's been tricked too many times.
As Odysseus speaks, in Penelope he roused desire to weep still more, because she recognized in what Odysseus said signs that he spoke the truth. She feels it, but she can't quite accept it yet.
Euryclea's moment of recognition is incredibly powerful and sudden. She traced it out, recognized it, and dropped his foot. His leg fell in the basin, and the bronze rang out. It tipped over on its side and spilled the water.
Such a dramatic, cinematic moment, the sound gives it away.
And Odysseus's swift action to silence Euryclea is equally telling. But his hand gripped me by the throat. His heart had other plans and would not let me speak. And his subsequent warning to keep his identity secret. Could mother, keep this news to yourself. Leave the matter with the gods.
He needs to control the reveal. It's not time yet.
Penelope's profound grief is clear as she describes her lament. Every day I get my joy from mourning, from laments as I carry out my work. But when night comes, piercing worries crowd my throbbing heart and give me great distress while I mourn.
Her nights are filled with sorrow and anxiety. What does this scene reveal about the strength of Penelope's intuition and her deep, yet cautious longing for her husband?
She's so close to knowing, isn't she? Her heart recognizes something, even if her mind is still protecting itself.
And how do physical marks of experience, like the scar, carry such immense meaning for identity and recognition?
It's the physical embodiment of his journey, a silent story etched on his skin. It cuts through the disguise, providing undeniable truth to those who knew him best.
It shows that true identity isn't just about appearance, but about these deep, shared histories. Exactly. It's proof that can't be fabricated, a deep secret held only by those who truly knew him and shared his past. It's where the personal and the epic converge.
The stage is almost completely set, but not without one last series of taunts and ominous warnings that the suitors, in their arrogance, fail to heed.
The gods send more signs, but the suitors just laugh them off.
Odysseus struggles to sleep, burdened by anxiety and praying for divine omens. Zeus responds with a peal of thunder, immediately followed by a slave woman's prayer for the suitor's demise, serving as a ghoul sign.
A sign from above and a sign from within the house. Very clear.
Melanthius and Ctesippus continue their verbal abuse of Odysseus. However, the loyal cowherd, Philœtius, expresses his deep longing for Odysseus's return.
Another loyal servant emerges. Odysseus is identifying his allies.
The suitors plot to kill Telemachus again, but an eagle omen carrying a dove dissuades them.
Even an omen directly related to their plotting doesn't fully register. They pause, but they don't repent.
The prophet Theoclymenus, seeing images of disaster, the palace wall splattered with blood, shades covering their faces, warns the suitors of their impending doom.
A terrifying vision. He sees their death right there in the hall.
But they mock and dismiss his prophecies.
The sheer abundance of divine omens in this section. Zeus's thunder, the slave's prayer, the eagle, Theoclymenus' visions emphatically highlights the gods' active and judgmental involvement.
The universe is screaming warnings at them.
Odysseus' prayer for dual omens is answered. "O Father Zeus, let someone in the house wake up and say something in there for me. Provide an omen, and outside the house let there appear another sign from Zeus." And Zeus's immediate thunderous response and the slave woman's confirming prayer seal it. At once he thundered down from glittering Olympus, and then some slave woman sent out a word of omen. May this meal be their last.
Wow. That's specific. Melanthius' continued hostility shows his blind arrogance. Contrast that with Philœtius' unshakable loyalty and hope. When I recall Odysseus and think of him, I start to sweat. My eyes fill up with tears, and his oath to Odysseus that he would see the suitors killed.
He's ready to fight for his master. Despite these unequivocal warnings, the suitors' deep-seated arrogance and hubris lead them to fatally dismiss or misinterpret the signs.
Tragic blindness.
This serves as a powerful illustration of their moral corruption and reinforces the ancient Greek concept of tragic blindness, where characters bring about their own destruction by ignoring clear divine signals. Theoclymenus' chilling prophecy is direct. "You poor men, what kind of trouble is this? Night covers your heads, your faces, your knees. Your eyes are filled with tears. The walls are splattered with blood."
He literally sees their ghosts. Why do the suitors, despite living in a world where gods regularly intervene, so willfully ignore these clear warnings?
Their hubris is a form of self-inflicted blindness. They've lived in unchecked privilege for so long that they believe themselves immune to consequence, even divine.
Power corrupts perception.
They interpret any opposition as a personal affront rather than a warning, sealing their own tragic fate. It's a classic example of how power can corrupt not just actions, but perception itself.
The images of disaster are a powerful premonition of the brutal events that are about to unfold. The stage is now perfectly set for the final, bloody confrontation, the contest of the bow.
Penelope's challenge.
Which will serve as both a test of strength and a prelude to slaughter.
The moment of truth has arrived.
The air in the palace is thick with tension, overlooked omens, and unchecked arrogance. Penelope, perhaps unknowingly, provides the perfect catalyst for her husband's long-awaited vengeance.
Or perhaps guided by Athena.
Penelope, inspired by a divine thought, announces an archery contest. She will marry the suitor who can successfully string Odysseus's massive, polished bow and shoot an arrow through the holes of 12 axe heads, set up in a precise line.
A legendary bow needing immense strength and skill.
She declares, "Whichever one of you can grip this bow and string it with the greatest ease, then shoot an arrow through 12 axes, all of them. I'll go with him, leaving my married home."
High stakes, the ultimate prize.
This contest is far more than a simple bridal competition. It is the ultimate test of true kingship, identity, and physical prowess. The bow has a formidable history, described as a gift from Iphinus, a symbol of honor and strength.
A hero's weapon for a hero's task.
Upon seeing the bow, the loyal servants, Eumaeus and Philautius, weep openly. With tears in his eyes, Eumaeus took the weapons and laid them out. Philautius, the goatherd, was weeping too, once he saw his master's bow.
It represents everything they've lost and hoped for.
It's a profoundly emotional moment for them, seeing this relic of their long-lost master. Telemachus, displaying a remarkable surge of confidence, attempts to string the bow himself,
Showing his own strength now.
nearly succeeding 3 times before Odysseus subtly signals him to stop, recognizing the time for his own revelation is near. On his 4th attempt, he might have strung it, but Odysseus shook his head, signaling him to stop.
Not yet, son. It's my turn.
This really foreshadows his own future prowess, doesn't it? He's almost there.
It absolutely does. Only Odysseus, the rightful master, possesses the unique combination of strength and skill required. Telemachus's near success symbolically highlights his burgeoning claim to his patrimony.
He's ready to be king, eventually.
Yet Odysseus's intervention underscores that the true master has returned and the time for a pretender is over. It's a perfectly calibrated moment for both their arcs.
What does the fact that Telemachus almost strings the bow signify for his future role in Ithaca?
It shows he has the potential, the lineage, the strength. He will be capable, but first Odysseus must reclaim his place.
And how does Penelope's choice of contest, seemingly arbitrary, serve as an unwitting instrument of her husband's return and revenge?
It's a divine trap set with a human hand, ensuring that no one but the rightful king can complete the challenge. It perfectly isolates Odysseus's unique ability.
It speaks to the intricate workings of divine will and human agency, all converging in this single moment.
Precisely. It's brilliant narrative construction.
The suitors, one by one, try and fail, blinded by their own arrogance and lack of true worth, setting the stage for the beggar's dramatic turn.
Their failure highlights their unworthiness. They're pretenders in every sense.
As suitors attempt and fail to string the bow, including Leodes, a soothsayer who warns of its deadly nature.
Another prophet ignored.
Antinous suggests greasing the bow with fat. Leodes' failure and prescient warning are notable. "My friends, I'm not the man to use this bow. This bow will take away from many fine young men their lives and spirits.
He sees death in the bow.
Since it's far better to die than live and fail in the attempt." It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Odysseus, still disguised, discreetly reveals his true identity to his 2 loyal allies, Eumaeus and Philautius, outside the hall.
He gathers his loyalists just before the action starts.
He gives them precise instructions. Eumaeus is to deliver the bow to him, and both are to lock the doors and gates, securing the palace.
Locking the trap.
This is the climactic moment, the ultimate, long-awaited unveiling of the hero. Odysseus's poignant revelation to his loyal servants is direct. "Well, here I am in person. After suffering much distress, I've come home, back in the 20th year to my own land."
Showing them the scar's proof. An intimate revelation to those he trusts most. His precise instructions for the palace lockdown are critical for the plan.
"Bar the doors. No escape."
Eumaeus is to give him the bow and tell the women to lock their room. Philautius is commanded to lock the courtyard gates. Bolt and lash them shut. Do it quickly. It's a military operation, precisely planned.
After Eurymachus fails and Antinous proposes postponing the contest, Odysseus, the beggar, requests a turn with the bow, provoking outrage from the suitors.
The nerve of this beggar, how dare he?
Penelope and Telemachus fiercely intervene on his behalf. Odysseus effortlessly strings the bow, twangs the string with precision, and shoots an arrow cleanly through all 12 axe heads.
The moment everyone realizes who he is.
The stringing is compared to a musician. Just as a man who understands the lyre and how to sing effortlessly stretches a string, That's how Odysseus effortlessly strung his great bow.
The sound is like a swallow, a small yet powerful detail.
Beautiful imagery. The ease with which he does it is terrifying for the suitors. Without a moment's hesitation, he then turns and shoots an arrow directly through Antinous' throat.
The first kill,
Yeah.
the leader of the suitors, signaling the beginning of the bloody reckoning. Odysseus took aim. The arrow struck Antinous through the throat. This effortless stringing serves as irrefutable confirmation of his identity and formidable power. The immediate, decisive killing of Antinous is a powerful act of justice,
No more warnings, just retribution.
initiating the full-scale brutal slaughter and signaling that 2 decades of suffering have finally reached their turning point.
How does the sudden dramatic shift from a seemingly innocent contest to a brutal execution impact the narrative? The symbolic weight of Odysseus reclaiming his weapon is undeniable.
It creates a sense of catharsis, a release of tension built over 20 years. The bow isn't just a weapon, it's a symbol of his legitimate authority, and its use signals the restoration of cosmic and social order through a violent, necessary cleansing.
He's taking back his house, his kingdom.
It's a moment of absolute power right in the heart of his defiled home.
The halls of Ithaca, once filled with illicit feasting and laughter, now become a scene of swift, brutal, and bloody justice.
The reckoning has begun.
Following Antinous' death, Eurymachus attempts to negotiate, offering lavish compensation for the suitor's transgressions.
Trying to buy his way out. Too late for that.
But Odysseus, unyielding, refuses and kills him with another arrow. Odysseus's uncompromising refusal is stark. There will be no more talks of compensation. There is no ransom for your lives. Your fate is sealed.
No mercy. Not now. Eurymachus' desperate charge and quick demise follow as Odysseus kills him with an arrow to the chest, striking near his nipple, and the swift shaft sped on straight into his liver. Brutal efficiency.
Telemachus, fighting fiercely alongside his father, retrieves additional weapons from the storeroom for Odysseus and his loyal allies, Eumaeus and Phaluetius.
Father and son fighting side by side. A powerful image. He courageously states, "Father, now I'll bring you a shield, 2 spears, a helmet made of bronze. When I get back, I'll arm myself and hand out other weapons."
He's fully engaged in the fight now. The treacherous goat-herd Melanthius attempts to arm the remaining suitors, but is quickly captured by Eumaeus and Phaluetius.
The traitor tries to help the enemy.
Then tied and strung up to the rafters, they tied his hands and feet behind his back, drew a rope, and strung him up, close to the rafters, left hanging there to watch.
A fitting humiliation before his end.
Athena, disguised as mentor, appears, encouraging Odysseus, saying, "Why now, Odysseus? Do your strength and fighting spirit no longer remain?"
Giving him a divine pep talk.
The brutal battle rages through the Great Hall as Odysseus and his small but determined group systematically kill the suitors. The description is graphic. Odysseus struck down Demoptolemus, Telemachus hit Euryades, the swineherd struck Elatus, and the cattle herder killed Pisander.
4 against over 100. But they are relentless. As these 3 men lay dying, their teeth chewed up the dirt. It's a massacre.
This extended graphic scene is the horrifying culmination of 2 decades of suffering and meticulous planning. It serves as a visceral depiction of divine justice.
And the consequences of violating sacred laws. Odysseus demonstrates unwavering resolve and formidable physical prowess, fighting with ruthless efficiency, powerfully aided by his loyal household and the active presence of Athena.
In an act of selective mercy, the bard Phemius and the herald Mildon are spared, recognizing their innocence.
They were forced to serve the suitors, essentially.
As Odysseus says, "Don't worry, this man here has saved your life, so you know in your heart and can tell someone else how doing good is preferable by far to acting badly." The systematic nature of the slaughter underscores the scale of the suitors' crimes and the epic's commitment to restoring justice.
The detailed description of the fight highlights the overwhelming numerical disadvantage Odysseus faced, making his victory a testament to his skill and divine favor. What does the sparing of the bard and herald, but the merciless slaughter of all suitors, tell us about the moral code governing Odysseus's justice?
It's not just blind rage, right? There's a judgment being made about who was truly guilty and who was just caught up in it.
It reveals a selective justice, one that punishes corruption and betrayal, but spares those who either acted out of fear or whose professions, like a bard, were considered sacred and integral to societal memory. It emphasizes that while the physical cleansing is absolute, there's still a hierarchy of guilt.
With the hall cleared of the bodies of the invaders, Odysseus turns his attention to the traitors within his own household, completing the grim work of cleansing.
The external threat is gone, but the internal corruption must also be dealt with.
After the slaughter, Odysseus commands Euryclea to identify the 12 female servants who had betrayed his household by consorting with the suitors. But come now, tell me about the women in these halls, the ones who disrespect me, and the ones who bear no blame.
Separating the loyal from the disloyal.
He then instructs Telemachus, Eumaeus, and Philoeus to first make these disloyal women clean the bloody hall and remove the corpses.
A grim task, forcing them to confront the results of their betrayal.
Once this is done, the women are led outside and hanged, a grim act of retribution, as the text describes. Telemachus then led them out, where he used a ship's cable, tied them by the neck, he strung them all up there, their feet kicked briefly.
A horrible, shameful death. Absolutely brutal.
Finally, Melanthius, the treacherous goatherd, is subjected to a gruesome, mutilating death.
The text mentions him being cut up and castrated, a particularly horrific end reserved for the worst traitor.
Following these acts of justice, Odysseus purifies the entire house with sulfur and fire.
This final brutal act of internal cleansing signifies the complete restoration of order, loyalty, and justice within Odysseus' household. The harsh punishments meted out reflect the severe moral code of the time and the absolute condemnation of betraying one's master and household.
Treason was the ultimate crime.
It underscores the idea that justice, while often violent in this epic, is meticulously applied to those who have violated foundational societal norms. The purification ritual symbolically cleanses the physical and moral pollution from the palace, paving the way for a new beginning.
How does this grim justice align with Zeus's earlier pronouncements on human foolishness and the god's role in retribution?
It's a direct echo, a fulfillment of that divine decree. The suffering of the mortals, the suitors, the disloyal servants, is directly proportional to their foolishness and disregard for divine law and hospitality. Odysseus acts as the instrument of that cosmic order,
Restoring balance through violence.
purging the pollution that had festered for 20 years, making it fit for his family and for the gods once more.
The physical battle is over, but for Odysseus, the hardest challenges often lie in peace. The emotional journey of reconciliation with his family still awaits.
Killing is one thing. Rebuilding relationships is another.
The violence has subsided, the house cleansed, but for Odysseus, the hardest challenges often lie in peace, reconnecting with his family and restoring his kingdom, not just through force, but through recognition and love.
Especially with Penelope. That's the big one.
Old Euryclea rushes to Penelope's chamber, joyfully proclaiming Odysseus' return and the suitor's demise. However, Penelope, scarred by years of deception and grief, remains disbelieving.
She just can't believe it. Not after all this time, all the false hopes.
She descends to the hall, observing Odysseus with profound suspicion, unable to fully recognize him. Telemachus chastises her for her coldness, but Odysseus, understanding her caution, encourages her to test him.
Penelope's prolonged caution and cunning perfectly mirror Odysseus' own famous traits, highlighting their deep intellectual connection. Even Euryclea's joyous news is met with profound disbelief. Dear nurse, don't laugh. This story can't be true. One of the immortal gods has killed the noble suitors.
She thinks it must be a god, not her husband.
Telemachus, frustrated, chastises his mother. Mother, why do you not move close to my father? No other woman would have such an unyielding heart. He doesn't understand her caution.
But Penelope knows better. Her command to move the bed. Euryclea, move the sturdy bed outside the bridal chamber, the one that brave Odysseus made, set it down there. Seemingly innocuous to others, elicits a passionate, detailed response from Odysseus.
The final test, the secret only they know.
He alone knows the bed's unique, immovable construction built around a living olive tree.
His passionate, detailed revelation of the bed's secret construction demonstrates his unique knowledge. No mortal man could move this bed of ours, for I built it myself. There was a thick olive tree growing in the courtyard. I lopped off the branches and shaped the trunk for the bedpost. I bored holes in it. Then I inlaid it with gold.
He describes it perfectly. The secret sign.
This irrefutable proof finally shatters Penelope's doubts, leading to their tearful and joyous embrace. Her overwhelming relief and recognition is clear. Now you have described that clear symbol, our bed, which no one else has ever seen. You've won my heart.
Finally, recognition. Reunion.
This moment is one of profound emotional catharsis, marking the complete restoration of their 20-year broken bond. It emphasizes that true recognition comes not from appearance, but from shared, intimate knowledge in an unshakable bond.
What deeper meaning does this rooted bed hold for you? It's not just furniture, is it?
Oh, definitely not. It represents the deep organic connection of their love, literally rooted in the earth, impervious to external forces or the passage of time.
Unshakable, like your marriage.
It's the ultimate symbol of their enduring bond and the home they built together, a home that only they truly know. It's where physical and spiritual homecoming truly meet.
With his wife finally at his side, Odysseus looks to the future, mindful that his journey, according to prophecy, is still not truly complete.
Tiresias' words still hang over him.
As they finally find peace in each other's arms, Odysseus recounts to Penelope the solemn prophecy given by Tiresias in the underworld. He must undertake one final journey inland.
Carrying an oar. Strange task.
He must carry an oar until he reaches a people who know nothing of the sea, mistaking his oar for a winnowing shovel. There, he must plant the oar in the ground and make grand sacrifices to Poseidon.
To finally appease the sea god.
Only after this will he find a gentle passing in ripe old age, his death finally coming out of the sea.
This crucial detail reveals that even after achieving his homecoming and exacting revenge, Odysseus' Odyssey is not truly over. Tiresias' explicit prophecy is fascinating. Take up a well-made oar and go, until you reach a people who know nothing of the sea. When someone else runs into you and says you've got a shovel used for winnowing, then fix that fine oar in the ground and offer rich sacrifice to Lord Poseidon.
A very specific ritual journey.
And then leaves. The nature of his ultimate demise is also quite specific, yet ambiguous. Your death will come out of the sea, such a gentle passing, when you are bowed down with a ripe old age, with your people prospering around you.
Out of the sea. What could that mean? Penelope, for her part, offers a hopeful response. If it's true that gods are bringing you a more serene old age, there's hope you'll find relief.
The prophecy suggests a profound spiritual and symbolic quest, a need to appease Poseidon, and perhaps to spread knowledge of the sea, or maybe even escape it. It adds a final layer of depth to the hero's journey.
Suggesting true peace comes from fulfilling one's ultimate destiny.
And finding balance, even with one's greatest adversaries. What does this second journey imply about the nature of a hero's life? Is it possible for a hero to ever truly retire?
It seems a hero's journey is rarely truly finished, does it? There's always one more horizon to seek, one more balance to strike. It's not just about coming home, it's about making peace with the journey itself, maybe.
Exactly. The very essence of heroism in this context is an ongoing engagement with the world and one's destiny, a continuous act of seeking and balancing.
With the private affairs of the royal couple settled, Odysseus must now face the public aftermath and the wider political implications of his bloody return.
The killing of all those noble sons, that won't go unanswered.
While Odysseus and Penelope find solace, Hermes escorts the shades of the dead suitors to Hades, where they encounter Achilles and Agamemnon discussing their respective fates.
A final check-in with the heroes of Troy down below.
Back on Ithaca, Odysseus journeys to his father Laertes. He tests his father with a fabricated story, observing his grief, before finally revealing his true identity.
Even his own father gets tested. Old habits die hard.
Laertes is miraculously invigorated by Athena. News of the slaughter spreads through Ithaca, and Eupeithes, the father of the slain Antonius, rallies the citizens for revenge.
This final climactic act addresses the complex societal and political fallout. Personal revenge has broader ramifications. In Hades, Amphimedon describes the slaughter to Agamemnon, including Penelope's weaving trick.
So the news travels even to the underworld.
Agamemnon, in turn, praises Penelope for her unwavering loyalty.
Oh.
What a wife she was, so full of virtue. How well she remembered Odysseus. A stark contrast to his own wife.
Odysseus's cunning test of Laertes reveals the depth of his father's grief. Somewhere far from his native land, the fish have fed on him. His mother and father could not lay him out for burial. Laertes throws dust on his head in sorrow.
Heartbreaking. Upon recognition, Athena then made him taller and more substantial, giving him strength for the coming fight.
The emotional reunion with Laertes symbolizes the full restoration of the patriarchal lineage and the healing of deep familial wounds. However, the external threat remains. Eupeithes' impassioned call to arms is dangerous. "You men of Ithaca! He destroyed the best of the Cephalenian people. Let's go before he flees."
He wants vengeance for Antinous. Civil war is brewing. However, the wise elders Medon and Halitherses caution against further violence, stating, "What's happened now has come about because you've all been acting stupidly," blaming the suitors' families for letting it happen.
But divine intervention proves essential to avert a civil war. Athena and Zeus intervene directly, with Laertes, invigorated by Athena, killing Eupeithes with a spear thrust.
The father of the victim killed by the father of the avenger. A grim symmetry. Laertes then hurled his spear. It hit Eupeithes. Eupeithes fell down with a resounding clang.
And then Athena, disguised as Mentor, definitively stops the fighting and, with a thunderbolt from Zeus, establishes a lasting oath of peace between Odysseus and the Ithacan citizens.
A divinely enforced peace. Athena ordered an end to the fighting and established a lasting oath between both sides. Order is restored.
How does this divine intervention in this final conflict underscore the importance of cosmic order and the restoration of justice, not just personal revenge?
It shows that the gods ultimately want stability. Odysseus's actions were justified, but the cycle of vengeance needs to stop. The gods step in to ensure a lasting peace, validating Odysseus's rule, but preventing further bloodshed.
The ending, with its enforced peace, makes you consider what true leadership entails beyond strength. It's about reconciliation, too.
Exactly, maintaining stability and fostering reconciliation after necessary but brutal change. The gods ultimately ensure that balance is restored.
And so our deep dive into the Odyssey concludes, leaving us with a final thought about what it truly means to journey and finally return home.
What a journey it's been.
We've navigated the treacherous seas of Odysseus' journey, witnessed his unparalleled cunning and resilience, felt the sting of betrayal and the warmth of unwavering loyalty, and experienced the profound catharsis of his epic homecoming.
From Telemachus's courageous quest to Penelope's steadfast cunning, and Odysseus's encounters with gods, monsters, and mortals, it's an incredibly rich tapestry.
The Odyssey is far more than just an ancient tale. It's a timeless exploration of what it means to endure unimaginable suffering, to seek justice, to reclaim what is rightfully yours, and to finally find peace after decades of hardship.
It really resonates with the struggles we all face in different ways.
It reminds us that true heroism lies not only in grand adventures, but in the unyielding spirit that yearns for home, even when that home is irrevocably changed.
That longing for belonging, for peace.
So, final thought for you. In your own life, what Odyssey are you currently on, and what internal or external forces are keeping you from your own Ithaca, that place of belonging, peace, and self-realization?
That's a deep question.
How do you define home? And what acts of cunning, resilience, or even painful justice might you need to employ to truly return there, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually?
What does it mean to overcome your own suitors and finally cleanse your palace? Lots to think about there.
Perhaps this deep dive encourages you to revisit the full text of the Odyssey, or to reflect on your own journeys of perseverance, loyalty, and the ultimate return to what truly matters.
Subscribe to the Timeless Tales podcast. Your stories, your time.